The myth of social entrepreneurship. Clean tech entrepreneurs aim for more than just success at most business define it. The clean tech bubble was the biggest phenomenon and the biggest flop in the history of social entrepreneurship. The philanthropic approach to business starts with the idea that corporations and non-profits have until now been polar opposites. Corporations have great power, but they are shackled to the profit motive. Non-profits pursue the public interest, but they are weak players in the wider economy. Social entrepreneurs aim to combine the best of both worlds and do well by doing good. Usually, they end up doing neither. The ambiguity between social and financial goals doesn't help, but the ambiguity in the world social is even more of a problem. If something is socially good, it is good for society, or merely seen as good by society. What is good enough to receive applause from all audiences can only be conventional, like the general idea of green energy. Progress isn't held back by some difference between corporate greed and non-profit goodness. Instead, we are held back by the sameness of both. Just as corporations tend to copy each other's, non-profits all tend to push the same priorities. Cleantech shows the result: hundreds of undifferentiated products, all in the name of one over broad goal. Doing something different is what's truly good for society, and it's also what allows a business to profit by monopolizing a new market. The best projects are likely to be overlooked, not trumpeted by the crowd. The best problems to work on are often the ones nobody else even tries to solve. Tesla 7 for 7. Tesla is one of the few clean tech companies started last decade to be thriving today. They rode the social buzz of clean tech better than anyone. But they got the seven questions right, so their success is instructive. Technology. Tesla's technology is so good that other car companies rely on it. Dale, Daimler uses Tesla's battery packs. Mercedes Benz uses a Tesla powertrain. Toyota uses Tesla motor. General Motors has even created a task force to track Tesla's next moves. But Tesla's greatest technological achievement isn't any single part or component, but rather its ability to integrate many components into one superior product. The Tesla Model S sedan, elegantly designed from end to end, is more than the sum of its part. Consumers report consumer reports related it higher than any other car ever is reviewed, and both Motor Trend and Automobile magazines named it their 2013 car of the year. Timing. In 2009, it was easy to think that the government would continue to support clean tech, green jobs were a political priority. Federal funds were already or earmarked, and Congress even seemed likely to pass cap and trade legislation, but where others saw generous subsidies and could flow indefinitely. Tesla CEO Elon Musk rightly saw a one-time only opportunity in January 2010, about a year and a half before Solyndra imploded under the Obama administration and politicized the subsidy questions. Tesla secured a $465 million loan from the US Department of Energy. A $500 million subsidy was unthinkable in the mid 2000s. It's unthinkable today. There was only one moment where that was possible, and Tesla played it perfectly. Monopoly. Tesla started with a tiny sub market that it could dominate: the market for high-end electric sports cars. Since the first Roadster rolled off the production line in 2008, Tesla sold only about 3,000 of them, bought at $109,000 a piece. That's not trivial. Starting small allowed Tesla to undertake the necessary R&D to build the slightly less expensive Model S, and now Tesla owns the luxury electric sedan market too. They sold more than 20,000 sedans in 2013, and now Tesla is in prime position to expand to broader markets in the future. Team Tesla's CEO is the consummate engineer and salesman. So it's not surprising that he has assembled a team that's very good at both. Elon describes this staff this way: if you are at Tesla, you are choosing to be at the equivalent of special forces. There is the regular army, and that's fine. But if you are working at Tesla, you are choosing to step out your game. Distribution. Most companies underestimate distribution, but Tesla took it so seriously that it decided to own the entire distribution chain. Other car companies are beholden to independent dealerships. Ford and Hyundai make cars, but they rely on other people to sell them. Tesla sells and services its vehicles in its own stores. The upfront cost of Tesla's approach are much higher than traditional dealership distribution, but it affords control over the customer experience, strengthens Tesla's brand, and saves the company money in the long run. Durability. Tesla has a head start, and it's moving faster than anyone else, and that combination means its lead is set to widen in the years ahead. A coveted brand is the clearest sign of Tesla's breakthrough. A car is one of the biggest purchasing decisions that people ever make, and consumers' trust in that category is hard to win. And unlike every other car company, at Tesla, the founder is still in charge, so it's not going to ease off anytime soon. Secrets. Tesla knew that fashion drove interest in clean tech. Rich people especially wanted to appear green, even if it meant driving a boxy Prius or clunky Honda inside. Those cars only made drivers look cool by association with the famous conscious movie stars who owned them as well. So Tesla decided to build cars that made drivers look cool. Period. Leonardo and DiCaprio even teased his price for an expensive expensive looking Tesla Roadster. While generic cleantech companies struggle to differentiate themselves, Tesla built a unique brand around the secret that cleantech was even more of a social phenomenon than the environmental imperative. Energy 2.0. Tesla's success proves that there was nothing inherently wrong with cleantech. The biggest idea behind it is right. The world really will need new sources of energy. Energy is the master resource. It's how we feed ourselves, but shelter and make everything we need to live comfortably. Most of the world dream of living as comfortably as Americans do today, and globalization will cause increasingly severe energy challenges unless we build new technology. There simply aren't enough resources in the world to replicate old approaches or redistribute our way to prosperity. Cleantech gave poor people a way to be optimistic about the future of energy, but when indefinitely optimistic investors betting on the general idea of green energy funded cleantech. Companies that lacked specific business plans, the result was a bubble. Plot the valuations of alternative energy firms in the 2000s alongside the Nasdaq's rise and fall a decade before, and you see the same shape. Unix, Nasdaq 2000, 1500, 0, 500, 1000, 1500, 2000. 0,000, 2000, 2000, 4000, 5000. 1995 to 2000, 2000 to 2004, 2003 to 2008 to 2012. Um, Cup 2000 peak on peak. It's falling. Oh, Nasta is constantly rising, and Linux is falling in 2000. And at the time from 2002 to 2004, like that, 2010 to 2012. I think the description is on following paragraphs. The 1990s had the 90s had go on big area. The internet is going to be big, but too many internet companies had exactly that same idea and no others. An entrepreneur can't benefit from macro scale insight unless his own plans begin at the micro scale. Clean tech companies face the same problem. No matter how much the world needs energy, only a firm that offers a superior solution for a specific energy problem can make money. No sector will ever be so important that merely participating in it will be enough to build a great company. The tech bubble was far bigger than clean tech, and the crash even more painful. But the dream of the 90s turned out to be right. Skeptics who doubted that the internet would fundamentally change publishing or retail sales or everyday social life looked prescient in 2001, but they seem comically foolish today. Could successful energy startups be founded after the clean tech crash, just as Web 2.0 startups successfully could successful energy startups be founded after the clean tech crashed, just as Web 2.0 startup successfully launched amid the debris of the dot coms? The macro need for energy solution is still real, but a valuable business must start by finding a niche and dominating a small market. Facebook started as a service for just one university campus before it spread to other schools and then the entire world. Finding small markets for energy solutions will be tricky. You could aim to replace diesel as a power source for remote islands, or maybe build modular reactors for quick deployment at military installations in hostile territories. Paradoxically, the challenge for the entrepreneurs who will create Energy 2.0 is to think small. Coming up to the next, chapter 14, the founder's paradox. Get back to you there.